Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video today. Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys a cheap team that you guys can make for Futchamps. If you guys are new to FIFA, if you guys got it in Christmas and you're looking for a cheap squad to make, I got just the perfect squad for you guys to make that is well balanced to the best of its potential for the price that you're paying for. So this is the team that we ended up using. This team consists of players that cost up to 180k. Now you have a good balance in every single position, right? You got a goalkeeper that's one of the most overpowered goalkeepers in the game in terms of him being either Farman or De Gea obviously being the best. You got two good center backs in Socrates and Eric Bailly, and then you have Valencia and Alaba as fullbacks, which is a fantastic back four. Now the midfield is always the hardest, right? When you start off FIFA, you will never be able to get that meta squad that, you know, has the physical presence, the weak foot, the attacking and defensive abilities, right? It's very tough to get that in the midfield. You know, you can obviously get a player like Herrera in terms of, you know, replacing Mkhitaryan, but Herrera, it just doesn't feel right in the attacking aspect. He's not fast enough to get in behind the defense. Because, you know, with this formation, I'm going to show you guys the tactics and instructions that I use. The midfield, right? The left center mid and the right center mid make those runs in behind a person's defense. Sometimes they make good runs, sometimes they don't. Most of the times they actually score a lot of goals. That's why it's the most important areas of the pitch for you to update is always the midfield, because if you get a good midfield, that's how you perform the best in Futchamps. This midfield is a mediocre good, right? Because you have someone like Bakayoko who, you know, has, you know, 73 pace, which isn't like the Patrick Vieira good or anything like that. Again, this team is more for the purpose of a person who is just starting out foot and needs to get a team in the beginning, right? This is 180k, which is very attainable nowadays. So, you know, you got someone like Bakayoko with 73 pace. I always give him a shout out so he has more defensive stats and more pace on his card. But the problem with Bakayoko is that he's medium. Now, the reason why I don't get someone like Conte, although he's like, I think Conte might be like 100k or 200k by now, is because Conte is too small. He'll never win the ball in the air when someone does a goal kick, and that's just a big no-no for me, right? The situation with this team is that you have high work rated players on both sides. So you have high with Mkhitaryan, and you also have high with Goretzka, which is a good balance in terms of attacking and defending. Now, people will wonder why I have Mkhitaryan. Again, this is the concept of having a beginner squad. He doesn't have the defensive capabilities. He has the pace to come back, and he's got decent shooting stats for a midfielder, but he won't do much for you defensively. So he'll be kind of like a nuisance in your team, but he's very good on the attack because of the 4-star skill moves and the 5-star weak foot. So he's a good player to have. This Goretzka card, I'm playing these cards on 8, 7, and 8 chemistry, which for me is perfectly fine. They're like, they're cards that, you know, already feel good. And, you know, getting +2/+2 on pace and defending isn't necessarily a bad thing. So it doesn't really bother me as much. Same thing as Socrates. Socrates is already a good center back. So, you know, having the chemistry for him only to be on 7 is perfectly fine for me. Again, Farman has the leg save trait, and he's one of those goalkeepers that are one of the most overpowered. So definitely one of the most effective. Valencia is amazing with the high work rates. High is most preferable to have as a fullback. I'd much rather have an Alexandro rather than an Alaba, because Alexandro can win the ball in the air and he has that really great physical presence against other players. But Alaba can do the job for the beginning. The striking lineup, this isn't like the typical, right? This is kind of like a typical meta squad. You got Willian, Gabriel Jesus, Martial. These are the only guys in terms of a beginner squad that can actually perform at a decent level. Martial and I would say Eric Bailly were the best players for me in this Futchamps that we recently played, and they were really good. Gabriel Jesus is a good player, but he just doesn't have any physical whatsoever. You know, Martial is 5'11", while also being 74 physical, while also being 4-star. So his card is actually really good. Whereas Gabriel Jesus, you know, he's kind of small. He doesn't really have the pace to make up for him being so small. And if he had +3 dribbling along with that pace upgrade, then he would definitely be better. But, you know, again, this is the beginner squad. It's not like entirely meta. It's what you can use for the beginning, right? Willian is a good player. But again, Willian gets outbodied all the time, being 5'9". He has 0 physical presence, and he doesn't. The thing about Gabriel Jesus and Willian is that they're not big dudes in game. Like you can kind of see their physical stature isn't about being big. it's all about dribbling with them, right? You have to create the space yourself. Even if you know, create that wide pass in between the defense, his defender will always outbody these guys. Whereas if you have someone like Ronaldo or R9, they would outbody the defenders, right? Because of the pace and the physical aspect. But these guys won't body people for the physical aspect. So just take that into account as you're using the club. You have to dribble a lot more with it rather than trying to pass people physically. Martial definitely passed people physically, which is why I like him so much. And again, that's why Martial and Eric Bailly were my best player. Eric Bailly is the pure definition of a player that is top meta, right? So like Eric Bailly, Valencia, and De Gea would be the only players in this team that would stay as a meta, but everything else would be replaced. You know, you would get an icon center back, a Hullet, a Patrick Vieira, maybe a Laurent Blanc or a Mateus. The top would consist of Ronaldo, maybe Thierry Henry, depending on the situation of the team, R9, Lionel Messi would probably play as my cam because Lionel Messi is incredible in this game. His dribbling is so fast and crisp, and then he has the most beautiful left foot that takes the most beautiful long shots. So, you know, there's a lot of players that you can definitely upgrade towards as you play Futchamps, as you trade in FIFA. So again, this is just a beginner squad that you can use. You're going to see a lot of faults in the team. You know, nowadays when people play Futchamps, they really have, you know, really good squads. When I was playing Futchamps on Sunday, I would say I had 20 games to play. I would say that 16 or 17 of those games, people had full meta teams. Not meta like this, meta as in like the players like Patrick Vieira, Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Laurent Blanc, all those kind of guys, right? So again, you're going to see some kind of differences in terms of performances because, you know, you have to really outplay a person that has a good team and that's decent at the game in order for you to win with this squad. But it's actually really good for the price that you're paying for. The price is really acceptable for the type of quality that you're getting, right? Because this whole team is 180k. One Neymar is like 300 or 400k. So just to take into account the quality that this team gives you for the low cost that it is. I'm going to show you guys the instructions and tactics, and I will let you guys know right now, these are not my instructions and tactics. These are from a streamer called Hectic Jukes. One of my viewers, as I was playing FIFA the other day, was telling me you should try out Jukes' tactics and instructions because it fits your playstyle really well, because I had trouble finding tactics and instructions that fit me. The only thing that I changed from the tactics was the defense, because I play a more conservative way of defending, whereas Jukes plays a more aggressive way of defending, right? I like the conservative because, you know, I think Jukes plays, I can't remember exactly, like I don't even remember what it was before, but I remember the pressure and aggression being higher. And the reason why I don't like that is because when you have your aggression higher, your center backs and your fullbacks, without you even doing the second man press, which is R1 and or RB, they will commit to someone who is attacking, basically pushing them out of position. So the reason why I put the aggression and pressure at 45 and 44 is because you have that happen less often. You know, the player like the center back pushing towards the attacker without you even asking him to, because it leaves gaps in behind the defense, and I'm just not a huge fan of that. You know, I like to bring the midfield back if I possibly can, so I like the players to stay in their positions, because it's not the center back's job to defend the midfield, it's the midfield's job to defend the midfield. So that's why I changed the defensive tactics, but everything else works perfectly with the 4-1-2-2. I've used these tactics for other formations, and it does work well as well. Like, you know, 4-3-1-2, it'll be very similar. Passing being on 70 is a beautiful thing, because if you have 55 shooting and 70 passing, this is the thing that I was trying to mention to you guys earlier. The left center mid and the right center mid make really good runs because you leave them on balance. I'll show you guys the instructions afterwards. They make really good runs. So if you put this passing to 70 and you also have the speed to 70 and the passing to 30, they will make those runs in behind the defense. So if you guys have players like Hullet, and again, like Hullet or Mateus or something like that, that has the pace and the physical presence to get in behind someone's defense and be able to take a good shot, these are the tactics that you should be using, because the free form makes them make those runs right in behind, right? So that's why I liked this formation so much, because I felt like my gameplay was missing the defensive and attacking aspect in general, right? And I knew that it had something to do with the tactics and instructions. I just couldn't figure it out. So these are the tactics that I use for the team. The instructions that I use for the team, I'm going to actually copy this for you guys, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I set it up in game, because I do use the 4-1-2-2. We started off with the 4-3-2-1, and then we do end up going with the 4-1-2-2 in game. So let me just switch that up here. I might be able to get find a way to get more chemistry on the players, depending on like switching them around or so, but I got to figure that out afterwards. Because the whole idea is to get like 100 chemistry before the game starts, and then if you switch in game, they remain on the same chemistry, right? So this is how the team sets up. The reason why I put Mkhitaryan on the left side is because, you know, the 5-star weak foot, and then I give him a hunter card. So he'll have decent shooting, but he won't have meta shooting. He'll miss opportunities because of the recent patch, how they make the shooting worse and the goalie's better. So, you know, 77 shooting and 79 composure isn't the best. You need the high 80s, or, you know, at least like 82, 83 composure with the high 80 finishing to be able to really finish those opportunities. Same goes for Goretzka. He's going to attack. He's not necessarily going to be amazing on the attack because he only has 78 composure and 71 finishing. But again, beginner squad. So this is the team that you definitely want to be using. So the instructions that I use for the team are these ones right here. So I use stay back while attacking for the fullbacks. And again, these are all Jukes' instructions too. I think I copied this to the teeth. I don't think I change anything about this. Stay back while attacking for the center defensive mid. I don't even bother touching cut passing lanes and man mark because I feel like it actually screws me up more than it actually helps me, because I just want him to be in the middle, and he's in the middle most of the time. So that's why I like him to be there. The cam, you leave him on stay forward when you're attacking, because the high work rates with Willian, he'll come back anyway. So that doesn't really matter too much. And then with the strikers, you put them to get in behind, which is this one right here, and press the back line for both of the strikers. So those are the instructions and tactics that I use for the team. I'm going to show you guys some gameplay right now. We're going to review some of the things, some of the goals that I scored. So let's get to it. With the games that I've been playing this weekend, I actually played really well compared to the teams that I was coming up against, right? My first 20 matches weren't so bad in terms of the meta squads that we're coming up against, but the last 20 matches, guys, man, I'm telling you, you just come up across people that just have full meta teams. And I'm going to show you guys when we do open up the rewards for the PS4 account, because this is a basically, I wouldn't necessarily call it a new road to glory, because I did technically use the FIFA points from the Icon edition of FIFA because it was 50% off. So I did get 8,000 FIFA points. I used them towards drafts to get the coins. In order for me to, you know, have at least a decent squad, because I didn't really want to start with a terrible team like I did for the Road to Glory on the Xbox. So I really wanted to start with the PS4 account with, you know, decent players that can actually do some things, right? But so like I was saying, the first 20 matches, I didn't really come up against that many meta players, or not meta players, or meta teams. So I felt like I actually had a chance of, you know, actually performing decently and getting some wins here and there. But the last 20 were so difficult, man, because it's just people, it's very difficult to play against those meta squads, because they have the physical and they will always win the 50-50 in the air. They'll always win you know, that running behind that you do with your strikers, because if I'm using someone like Gabriel Jesus or Willian, they'll always get outbodied from those type of players, or they'll always, you know, do a sneak around, not sneak around, but like a reach around tackle in order for them to get the ball. So again, you have to do the best you can under the circumstances. We did end up finishing with 33 wins this weekend, but it really could have been 38 or even unbeatable. I played really good FIFA this weekend, but you know, sometimes the game, in my honest opinion, has way too much RNG. Like there was games where I scored quality goals, and you know, like there's one game that I can remember where I lost the game 3-2. The guy scored a kickoff, a deflection where a shot was directed right at the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper palms it. He does like this knee animation where he puts the knee on the floor and then palms it off to the right side, and then the guy's just standing there and he just shoots it into an empty net, where he could have, you know, because a professional goalkeeper would have just absorbed the pressure of the ball, dropped it down, and then it would have picked it up. But you know, that was a little bit unfortunate. And then the third goal ended up being a shot with Ronaldo, again, deflects right, like a shot that's like sideways, right? Like he took a sideways shot to Ronaldo, deflects right back to his player, scores a deflection, right? Same game, I scored a kickoff, but then I scored a proper goal. So it's just a little bit annoying the way that you lose these matches, because the way that I lost most of the matches were against these really good teams. So it's just really frustrating to lose in these certain ways where, you know, the RNG of the game really needs to favor you at times, right? And it's just really annoying. And for me personally, I got super angry when I was playing my games, because I do stream my games. You know, a lot of the times you guys see content creators, they won't have a face cam, or they won't stream their games, because it's incredibly frustrating to stream your games onto Twitch. But we still end up doing decently. 33 wins is not a terrible thing, but I always set this level of myself. Even if I'm using this team, I wanted to hit Elite 1. I felt like I deserved to hit Elite 1 with the performances that I was putting in. I was doing beautiful passing plays. I was just playing really good FIFA. My defense was lovely this weekend, guys. I was playing really, really good defense. And if you guys want, I could make a defensive tutorial for you guys. I played really good defense, but I'm telling you guys, man, you can play good defense in this game and the game can still screw you over, because, you know, the ball can be deflected, the ball can be bounced. It's a lot of ridiculousness. I remember goals that I conceded where I got the ball back 3 times and it just landed back to him every single time. Times where, you know, the small players like Alessandrini would win headers over, you know, people like Eric Bailly. I had Vogt in the beginning of my Futchamps. Vogt is like one of those like cheap Bundesliga players that you can use. He's a decent center back if you're not playing Futchamps, but when you play Futchamps, you need to have that specific team, right? So I was really fed up with him. I lost 2 games because of Vogt, and I had to replace him. That's why you see Socrates on 7 chemistry, because Vogt was just a terrible player, right? I needed someone that was good with the pace, good with the defending, and good with the physical aspect. So I really, really needed to replace him, which I did end up doing. You know, I risked the aspect of having a 7 chem and an 8 chem, center mid, center back, just so I couldn't use Vogt, right? And for me personally, it goes to show that you just really need those specific players to perform well. On the PlayStation, I felt like the gameplay was personally better for me. Like I do enjoy playing on the gameplay for PlayStation more than I enjoy playing on the gameplay for Xbox. Reason being is because the gameplay on the PlayStation, the players feel lighter on their feet, right? So when I'm doing like turns and stuff, they actually do it most of the times, right? Don't get me wrong, there's inconsistent gameplay on PlayStation as well. Sometimes, you know, their players will feel awful, sometimes there'll be a lot of delay, and sometimes it won't. But in terms of a consistent aspect, it is consistently better than the Xbox gameplay. Because, you know, I stream my Futchamps games around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time, and my gameplay wasn't terrible. Game mechanics pissed me off, but the game play in general, like the way that the players felt, just never felt as bad as it did on the Xbox. And as you guys know, my team on the Xbox is really good. I have players like Ronaldo, Suarez, Neymar, and that team plays almost similar to this team, except for Ronaldo and Laurent Blanc, because they're significantly better. But the Neymars and the Suarez, you know, they felt so similar to this team because of the way the gameplay feels when I play during the daytime on Xbox. And again, I play during the daytime on PlayStation, and it's just not as bad. It's not great, but it's not as bad. It's just fun to play, or it's more fun to play, right? Because you don't always have to worry about this huge emphasis, because on the Xbox it feels like they're putting like this chest push on the players, this huge emphasis on the ball, right? And it's really annoying because it takes more time to do things like the specific small touches you got to do to score goals, make the pass. Because sometimes when you make a pass, you got to take that extra small touch to get the pass to be more consistent, right? So again, you have to be really careful with gameplay in FIFA. Again, this is a weekend that I got 33 wins. I could have easily gone Elite 1. I beat Elite 1 players this weekend, and it was really frustrating for me to see that, because these guys who got Elite 1, they have such amazing squads, and I lost to people who got 26 out of 40 and 24 out of 40. It was super frustrating for me, because I just needed 1 win to get Elite, and I would have been satisfied. Getting Elite 1 with a 180k squad would have been a fantastic thing for me. But Elite 2, again, isn't as bad, but you guys know how I am. I really, really deserve to get Elite 1, even top 100 with the way I played this weekend against these squads. So it was definitely very frustrating. But as you guys can see with the gameplay that I'm showing you guys right here, you'll always notice that the center mids will always make those runs if you get yourself into certain positions, right? You see me building up the play here at Bakayoko, where I'm holding up the play in the middle. The center mids, as you're holding up the play with the Bakayoko, just make those daunting runs forward. When they do that, you get the opportunities to score goals, which is exactly why you need the better players in those positions to score your goals. But that's going to be it for the highlights of pretty much the Futchamps games that I played so far. I'm not sure how many games these are. I'm going to show you guys the full highlights of the games that I played for my last 20 when the Futchamps rewards come out. So be sure to stick around for that. You know, some of you guys are gonna be questioning the way that I've conceded. Like, if you guys are gonna be questioning, like, if I'm making up excuses for the losses, I'm going to show you guys the full highlights of the 20 games that I played for the Futchamps reward video, so you guys will see exactly what went down. But that's pretty much it for the highlights, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, please drop a thumbs up on it, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.